Hello, amazing Nile Patel of SilverSilk. How are you today?
Hi, Sam. I'm doing wonderful. How are you today?
Um, this is a great week. I was with Sarah yesterday. I'm with you today, and then Nile, and then Danielle. You're back on Friday. Okay. Danielle's teaching peyote stitch on Friday
Oh my
at the shop.
goodness. You've
I don't
got
know the
like,
last time I've seen all of you in one week, so I'm doing great.
I
I
know, like we kind of had our little touch base during the Softflex event, and then we just sort of split and then have our own separate things going on. So one day we'll find a time where we're all like funneled in for the same hour for all the things.
well, yeah, it's true. You, Danielle, and I and Cassandra were all at the after party first
Yeah.
for Softflex Customer Appreciation Week. How did that week go for you?
Busy. I mean, it's been consistently busy this entire month, which I count my blessings in the same frame rate of like trying to balance a lot of stuff. But it's a good place to be, I suppose. And I have no complaints, just trying to keep stuff at a steady pace. And
Yeah.
the Softflex event was so fun. I'm glad that that they invited me to come do that with them, as I like to do stuff with friends whenever I can. Um, but yeah, it was. I wish I could have stayed longer for the party, though. That was, I think, the only regret that I had.
There's only what?
That was the only regret that I had, was just not staying longer for the
We
after
just
party to just chit
we
chat
kind
with
of
you
just
guys.
kept going. It was mostly just like Danielle and I. Cassandra's there for most of the time. We just and then at a certain point I was just like, y'all, because it was like 10 minutes to the hour. I was like, we should like be all bead something. I was like, all right, 10 minutes on the clock, go. And then we ended up going to like another 40 minutes. So we just couldn't stop
Oh,
beading. It was very fun.
good. I'm glad that that worked out well.
I'm wearing
I did
my
miss you guys, though. Oh,
favorite
look at
new
that!
SilverSilk bracelet. It
Yes,
has the custom pipe chain from the August launch
yes.
that I am
I love
obsessed with.
these themes that you're putting together because it's not just a monthly trend. It's a monthly theme that seems to
Mhm.
be more of an evergreen type of like what you're putting together. It's more timeless. It's just you're just doing it monthly, so it's consistent, right? But the themes are just so fun, and
Mhm.
I think the Silver Silk adds that added layer of I don't know, this sort of elegant timelessness that the box already has. At least that's what I'm hoping it does.
No, that's why I think they pair so well together. It's like we really try to pick out some nice beads for the box each month, and we're always careful not to make it too like adjusted. Say like it's almost October. We're not doing a Halloween box. There's the first hint, I guess. It's not a Halloween box because yeah, I want you to be able to make pieces for the next couple months, maybe with the box, and then have pieces that you're going to want to wear like any time of the year. Yes, we're influenced by like the colors of the season and all that, but like I don't know, there's a nice quality to having pieces that you can like I'm gonna wear this bracelet
Hmm.
more than just this month. I love this
I feel
bracelet.
the same way too. I never do the typical like themed things because I feel like I kind of want the designs to have life outside of that in a way. I
Mm.
know it recurs every year, but I guess I'm just thinking more of like, what else can I do with the design? Because I want to wear it next month. If it's like my favorite thing to wear ever,
Right,
I want to wear it all the time.
exactly. You
Certainly that should
understood.
stop. If you want to wear Halloween all the time, we are not shaming you for that. Perfectly okay.
So I don't know if folks saw Neely and I collaborated again for the September box, and we came up with a little something extra special this month that we haven't previously done. So there's custom silver silk that Neely is about to show off, but we made it into a whole maker pack. So you get the silver silk plus some crimp ends from Tierra cast that mesh really well together, mesh, and
See what you did there. That crimp really well together.
and so we basically made a whole maker pack. So it's like basically ready to go with, and it's pairs with the box was the whole how we picked out the colors for it. And then if you haven't met Neela yet, he's one of the most amazing designers you'll ever meet and a fabulous teacher. So today he has what you said you have 3 designs you want to show today.
Yeah, I was
Like folks,
I didn't know where to begin and end like I never always do. But I thought because this other product you guys are not familiar with at this point, it might be a good idea to have a couple of different examples of what you can do with it, just to spark up some creativity. So while they're not completely like fully fleshed out, well, I guess for the most part they will be. Particularly the donut wrapping that I wanted to show is more of like how to start it and kind of work talking about how to finish it. But that's just done on one of the chains that was in this maker pack. And then, yeah, the other two are on flat mesh. So I don't know if we just want to like go straight right into it and see what's going on with
let's do it. I'll add your overhead.
All right. Here we are. So I've got my little table space, and as Sam had mentioned, there is a 18-inch length of pipe chain in bronzite. This is SilverSilk's most popular color in the pipe chain line. Between this and actually aquamarine, which you had carried before. I personally am not. I love blue, but I like darker blue, so it kind of baffled me whenever I first found out that aquamarine was like the top selling color because it's a brighter blue. Yeah, I'm like, I guess I'm just gonna go with it. But
I mean, I'll take a dark blue any day.
All right, that's what I'm saying. Is I'm a dark blue kind of guy, but people are posting up these incredible designs using the aquamarine and the bronzite, which we have here, and some of the other colors there. So I'm just like, color me impressed. First of all, that's just incredible what everyone does with it. So pipe chain is a silicone tubing that has knitted wire knitted on top of it. It gives this really great metallic texture to I guess it's already a craft material because it's a tubing essentially that you could fill with, whatever you want to, whether it's craft wire or beading wire or leather cord or something, anything that's under a millimeter or so in diameter, you can, stuff right through it. But that knitted wire just really adds this luxe sort of look and feel to it on top. And I like to do the tone on tones. And I know you and I have experimented with the gold on, what was it, the red and the white chains.
Earlier loved that for August, Nile. It was beautiful.
I'm glad that worked out.
It's like so beautiful.
I was very taken aback with the white and gold combo, particularly. The red and gold looked wow too, but the white just seems so ethereal, and I don't know, just something that I wouldn't have thought of. So I'm glad like we talked about it and we actually ended up doing it. So that was
y'all. I've already told Nila like we're gonna need to convince him to put some more on the machine again because it's too beautiful not to do again.
We'll definitely talk about that. I think that would be a good idea for your folks that missed out on it the first time around. So the second color is this, and actually chain style is this flat mesh. So the way flat mesh is made, it's very different from the pipe chain or even the capture and pearlescent chain from the line. This uses 8 latch hook needles that are in a round cylinder that knit the wire into a very tight tubing. And it's very small, So like the tubing comes out of the bottom part of my machine and it goes through a second apparatus that's 2 rollers that kind of flatten and press the flat mesh together as such. And it comes out as just this really great metallic ribbon. So this color is peridot. That's the wire color at least. I actually don't have this in stock in my own store. So when Sam told me about his box ahead of time, because I was in the know before everybody else, and I just wanted to say that.
I think you're the only one these days who gets little hints.
I know. I hate secrets, so I feel like I'm just excited whenever I know what's going on. But then I get excited whenever everyone else starts to open theirs up too. But when he told me the color palette and the theme, I just knew that this was going to be the perfect color for it. So I'm glad we ended up going with this really lush green, and just fits so well. I think after looking at it with the box in real life too, and then just seeing this and being able to kind of dig it out and pair it with other stuff, I was like, this is the perfect combo.
And it's because it's a warm peridot tone. Because our focus on the box is really like these olive tones. So because it has that like olivine warmth to it, I think it matches like without fail.
It really does pick up some of the wonderful colors that are in some of the beads. So this was perfect. And you guys got, I think you guys got 2 feet of it in the kit. I can't remember.
Yeah, we did 2 feet and 6
Okay.
of the crimp ends.
Oh, right. And these are the ones from Tierra cast that are the hammer tone finish. And it's funny because like Tierra cast had these crimps made intending it to be used with flat leather cord that was up to about 3 or 4 millimeters in width. And so whenever I talked to Tracy, the representative from there, she was just like, you got to try these with the flat mesh. And so I did. And I hadn't played with it too much up until even us concepting for this maker pack. But we kind of talked in between this time and figured out like some clever ways to make this crimp really work to every last inch of the SilverSilk. So I'm excited to play along with this, and I've got some ideas on how I want to attach this all together. So why don't we start with this project that I have in front of me first, and then I'll just kind of work around the board here.
Someone just called it flat fairy silk.
Ooh.
It does have like a softness to it. It feels like ribbon.
Yeah, I think that's the one real like common attribute that kind of comes out of everyone's description, is that it does seem a lot more soft in person than they thought it would be when they looked at it online or as we were demonstrating it in video. It is so soft for the skin. It does feel exactly like just some sort of a metallic ribbon that you can wear. There's no pokey ouchies or anything that yeah, that's my technical term for you today. There's no ouchies in this. I carefully inspect the chain before or after it comes out of the machine, before it gets packaged, to make sure that there is no flaws. If there are any flaws, they end up in a remnant grab bag. But otherwise, the packaged stuff is the good stuff.
Neelix only gives us the good stuff.
I only give you guys the good stuff, and all my customers get all the good stuff, and then the rest of it, just ends up in another product altogether. So I thought I would construct a really quick bracelet for you guys. I went ahead and just strung on some of my favorite beads from the box right before the show.
Oh, so you got the cowgirl flowers and the table cut ovals and the bicones. Oh, lovely.
Yeah, and I feel like some of the projects I think that I have on my table might be a little too ambitious, or I don't know, just a little too over the top. But I feel like some of this stuff just can be as easy as you guide your own journey to be. And for me, just stringing, the first thing that I saw on my table seemed like the lowest commitment that I could do. But also, like, it just ends up beautiful because the beads match already. So for those of you that are really struggling out there, like, what do I do with all this stuff? Don't make it too hard on yourself. Just play with whatever you have right in front of you, and you'd be amazed at what you can come up with just with a little bit of repetition and pattern, right? So I'm going to lay that out. I kind of pre-measured this ahead of time. It's roughly about 6.5 to 7 inches is what I'm going to end up with my bracelet. But, I thought I love this mesh so much that I'm going to do a double strand iteration of it. And what I'm going to do is take my mesh, measure it to the width of my bracelet strand here. In this case, I'm going to go right up to the crimp on both sides, because that's where my Tierra cast crimp is going to go. And I'm just going to go ahead and use some cutters to trim it right off. This stuff doesn't fray, so you can cut it wherever you want to. You will get a few of these little bits at the end that you can either knock out with your finger, or you could pluck off with a pair of chain nose pliers. Pretty easy to do. You just kind of want to clean it up and get them out of the way so that they don't get in the way of
no fuzzies. No fuzzies.
No fuzzies. No fuzzies. That's right. So here we go again. I'm just going to line it up and go ahead and trim it. Okay. Don't throw this away, because we've got another demonstration coming up how to use it. That's my little pitch for the next project that I have planned, my little teaser. Okay, I'm just going to go ahead and pluck those little guys off. There we go. So with these crimps, they are a little bit wider. in its how it's there. But again, it is intended for leather cord, which tends to be a little bit on the fatter side. So the real trick here is to stuff it as much as you can to get the most out of the crimp. So what I do is I'm just going to pinch in those ends a little bit from the flat side to get it nice and kind of packaged together. And then what you can do is just kind of stuff it right into the crimp. You can put glue in there if you want to, some E6000 or some Loctite industrial glue if you want to. I'm going to go in without the glue and see if I can crimp this accordingly. So I'm going to use a pair of wide nose pliers, and these have been dipped in Tool Magic, which is a substance that creates a rubberized ending on your plier, sort of a silicone coating, so that whenever you crimp, you get a pretty good grip on whatever it is that you're holding. And also it doesn't scratch the finding. So I'm just going to squeeze this. I'm going to squeeze it pretty hard here at the end, actually, knowing that my crimp isn't going to scratch, but also I just want to get a really good end, a really good secure end on that piece. And this is not going to come out. And as you can see, I'm really pulling it. So that to me is pretty successful. And I've got these two really cool layers that are just going to ribbon everywhere in my bracelets.
It's amazing how much filling the crimp makes such a difference, because I did a single strand. I didn't put any like extra in, and like I don't think I fully crimped it all the way enough, but like even still I could tell that it was a lot. I could tell how much better it worked being fuller. So that's such a good tip there for bringing these two pieces together.
And if you are just using the single strand instead of two like I'm using here, I think we had talked about it earlier, and you had said that if you just use a piece of scrap, which was either this piece here, or if you folded it over and then stuffed in both sides, like that would work. So what I mean by that is I'm just going to do this, and I'll try and take out that kink here. But if you're wanting to just, fold it over and then kind of work it into the crimp, you can do that. Or in this case, I'm just using the two ends, which works. But yeah, it's kind of like how the magical crimpers tend to work. The more stuffing you have inside of the crimp, the more successful the crimp will be. Okay, so let's see, everything is nice and tidy. So I'm just going to squeeze.
And for folks kind of learning about Nilay's line of products, so Nilay actually makes custom findings for many of his product lines. So like with something like the flat mesh, he carries a finding that he designed specifically for the flat mesh that you can also try. So I think it's kind of, the Tierra is just kind of another option here, because we just wanted to give more pieces in the maker kit.
Yeah, and I think one thing that these findings are very different from mine, just in the texturized hammer tone, and the look of them it is quite different from the ones I've got, which I guess I could flash it real quick if you don't mind.
That goes on a scavenger hunt.
Yeah, exactly. Happens to be right behind me, so maybe that's why I have a product wall behind me. So you could see the difference. These are the kinds that you squeeze together because they've got little teeth, versus just being able to stuff it and squeeze it, call it good. I feel like I'm setting myself up for some sort of a recipe for food or something. Squeeze some and stuff it.
Beading's never that different.
Okay, so yeah, I'm just putting on my clasp now. Again, this was intended to just be a quick little easy like wrap bracelet project, nothing too over the top or extravagant. We just want to keep it easy for this first one. And I do have a clasp this time, so I'm very, very proud of myself.
Wow, Nilay, so honest,
I'm telling you, I just needed like a solid 5 minutes before this video started. I got my act together. I love this, by the way. This is such a great addition to the box. So cool.
Had you worked? I'm assuming you've probably used some of the Nun design items.
I actually have not. This is sort of my very first item from Nun design. actually. I'm loving it. It's so much detail.
Oh, I love how you used it there.
Yeah, just like I wanted a little charm to kind of zhuzh this up just a little more. But otherwise, I just got this like easy 3-strand bracelet without trying too hard with my crimping and
Gorgeous.
stuff.
I love that you made 2 strands at once. Like usually
Yeah.
1 strand at a time, but you're like, nope, two in one go. Here we go.
Well, I mean, it kind of works into the mechanics, right? The more stuffing that this had, just it
Yeah.
worked out better that way. So hopefully this will inspire you guys to give it a try if you've got some of the chain as well. All right, so that's one project, right? So we can work on something else.
Yeah. I also totally forgot to say we're streaming to Nilay's pages and the Sam's Bead Shop pages. If we want to like bring all like the comments together to one party, we're pushing folks towards the Sam's Bead Shop pages today.
Mhm.
And then after the stream, you can go and like and comment on both of the videos on YouTube if you want to help us both out. So,
Yes.
but if you want to come hang with everyone, come to the Sam's Bead Shop streams on Facebook or YouTube, because I know the comments are half the party at these things.
It really is. I'm trying to read some of these on the back end too. Can you wire into the strand? So, Melanie presents a really good question, because recently there was a tutorial, in fact, on my YouTube where I had my friend Stephanie demonstrate a project with the flat mesh, and she was able to actually stitch through the chain. I just have some beading wire here, but you can stitch through the chain, add on some beads from the bead box, right? So like, what have I got on my table here? Ooh, I've got these cool like Czech glass teardrops, and let's just bring a couple of those out maybe. So you can probably grab some beads, stick them onto your beading wire, and then sew through. Or if you want to use needle and thread, you could do that too. But like, it's just an easy like way to embellish if you want to do it that way. Hopefully that makes
cool.
sense.
I've never thought to that. That's what an interesting way to like. Then you can switch what side you're on. I love that.
Yeah. Now I'm thinking like, what if I had just embellished this one strand, and now I kind of regret crimping it already.
I feel like
I should just do these shows like
Nilay now in action.
Maybe I should just take group requests next time of like, hey, what do you guys want to see me do? See,
Wow,
like
that
I
would
could
totally
easily,
work.
I could have easily embellished this. Dang. I guess I'll leave it for someone else to do.
Oh, that's so pretty. What a great idea.
It really is. Like, thanks, Melanie, for the cool idea, suggestion, thought. Yeah. Such a fun idea. We're all full of so much creativity. So it's nice to have everyone here for sure.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so... Oh. Sorry, I cut you off.
Oh, now she's reading some comments. Cheryl's very excited to make the project.
Ooh, yay, awesome. So remember I talked about having a little scrap piece of SilverSilk left over? If you do, you can always repurpose it for something of a smaller project that would be like an earring, right? So a few ideas here that you can do, especially if you did grab the entire maker kit. You can... I've just like, there's a couple of ideas, but I haven't really like designed it into a thing yet, especially from what I have on my table. But one idea is if you just really did stuff each end into the crimp and crimped it, you could easily attach beads and your earring hook to one end.
Oh.
You know, and then you can do like the drops, or even, where's that leaf? There's some leaves in here. There's a bunch of leaves in here. But I love this because it brings out that copper. That would just be a cute little earring, wouldn't it?
And you had talked about like you could just like kind of make a little loop of it too for an earring. I thought that was
Yeah. In fact, I had this little component that I built minutes before the show, which I just took some beading wire and I beaded some cool beads on it. And put both sides through a crimp, so it crisscrosses into a crimp, right? So like all I have to do now is to finish my circle is to kind of just magical crimp this. So we can see if I can do it on camera right here real quick.
While Nilay's crimping, for folks that just joined, we're working with the maker pack that we released to go with the September bead box. So we're pretty low on the maker pack. Like pretty much all of them were scooped up last night at the live sale, but before this live we had a few left. So I put a direct link to that in this video. So you can either add it to your cart or you can join the wait list. And we're working on trying to make a new batch as soon as we can to replenish it. So definitely join that wait list.
Sam's really got me on it. So I think he's gonna hold me to it, you guys.
You gotta give the people what they want, Nilay.
It's true. Super true. Okay, so I just made this quick little like link ring, right? And I thought, that'd be a really great hoop for an earring. So I could take, and this is where you probably get the most mileage out of your crimps too. In fact, if you got all 6 of them, you could take a piece of chain and you can fold it around that smaller bead, right? And you get this really cool like little hook thing that happens as an embellishment. And so if you trim this just a little more, and then again, just kind of pinch in those ends, and then start to wiggle the crimp right on top. I've got a little piece of wire there sticking out, so I'm just going to go back and correct it real quick. Okay, and then I can take my crimper, or it's not really a crimper, my flat nose pliers here. Just kind of secure it by crimping it shut, pressing it, all the things. I've got this really great component that I can, either attach stuff to, or I could just put an earring hook on it and call it good. So another option.
Type of bail. I feel like folks are always looking at new ways to make bails, and then you just made a bail.
That's a good point. I didn't think about that.
Sometimes I feel like with you and Sarah, like you're geniuses, but you're like 10 feet ahead. You don't see what you're doing, and we just see like amazingness.
I think it takes another genius to recognize that too, for sure.
Oh,
so.
I just like to be an observer here. I love this position.
I don't know. I've seen you do some beading lately, and I feel like turning into a bit of a bead beast there.
Bead beast.
Bead beast.
And then Nilay grabs his. Is this our next project already?
It is, unless I don't know. I don't think I can come up with another earring design on the spot.
Oh no, I can't believe how efficient you are.
Oh, I really wasn't like 10 minutes prior to starting this, but I kind of got my act together because I knew early on what I wanted to make, so it's just a matter of like getting all of this stuff organized well enough.
And I feel like this donut pen is like our star item today for folks looking for a more project.
There was a lot of buzz around the donut, and I know how much you loved it, so I feel like I have to do something with it, right? It's so funny because I've repeated this technique multiple times, but I think I always end up switching it a little bit different each and every single time. But also, I love green. Green is like my soul color, right? I have green everything in life. So for me, this palette was just super inspiring to begin with. And whenever I got these beads, I was just like, man, anything that I produce with this is going to look super ritzy and just high end. But I put this together and I was just like, this is going to be such a great thing to teach and at least to show the making of. But I love these.
Aren't those cool?
So great. They look like stone, but they're not stone. They're well cut, faceted beads. So they're sort of in that between glass and stone state. I don't know, but I'm just in love with it.
I think it's like what they call a stone finish in Czech glass.
Oh,
So you're kind of onto it.
man, sign me up for like all the cabinets that in my house. I want my tabletops and done in this style. I want like my walls to be like coated with whatever finish. Like I love this. I'm just obsessed.
Neely doesn't want clear windows. He wants
I
stone
want
finish
this as
windows.
my windows. So, and maybe preferably with like one way, like where you just look out, but they can't see in. But no, for real, I'm obsessed with this particular bead and color. So, I found it quite inspiring. But I have this extra spare donut actually that I could show you how to start wrapping it with for those of us that are out there that want to make something similar. We'll
Is
know
that
how
the same size donut? Dang, you're so prepared.
Well, what I used this donut in a different kit for SilverSilk actually, so I have a ton of these already. So just it was funny how your donuts match my donuts.
You planned it.
Okay, like I just lost my train of thought because that was just such a weird comment. I've never said that before, but here we are. All right, anyway, I'm gonna use some tiger's eye. I'm just gonna give you the entire recipe for this project here. Okay, let's get some of this stuff out of the way. All right, so you will need your bicone Czech glass beads. You'll need your tiger's eye facets. These are just absolutely stunning too. Love them.
Oh,
I love that you can also include the gemstones in with the Czech glass because it really just heightens the like kit value in such a way.
Yeah, we always try to put like 3 gemstones in because I really think Czech glass and gemstones are besties.
Yeah, I agree.
Not alongside each other.
Well, you have this like luster finish, and sometimes you know the opaque or even the translucent, transparent. Like there's a nice textural offset with the gemstone that the gemstone inherently has, and so it's nice to find these different types of textures and mix them together. So you guys do that beautifully.
Oh, thank you, Neely.
Mm-hmm. All right, so these are the rice Czech glass rice beads in bronze luster, and I believe that's pretty much all I used. Like it was just a combination of those 3. So really, the secret here is just how well you can put the beading wire through a bead. And so all I'm going to do is string right up through my donut. And I already went ahead and strung on a little gemstone bead there. And this is also one of those techniques, just by the way, that you can mix up with any beads that you want to use. The real trick is just to make sure that the beading wire can go in twice. So once I've strung my beading wire up through it, you can switch to a smaller flat bead. The rice beads here worked out so beautifully because of that flat surface that it's got, right? It's not super round, so it won't stick out kind of funny. It just is going to lay nice and flat on the donut. So you basically string both wires through, and I'm going to leave my shorter one here out to the side because that's what I'm going to use later to crimp my loop with. But now I can go ahead and string on my bicone. This is what's going to create the volume that you see here. So we started out with a tiny donut, but look how much volume I've added just with the beadwork. And then I'm going to string on another tiger's eye. So I've got a bicone and a tiger's eye in the same strand here, which I'm just keeping that out of the way. I'm going to go up through my donut, and I'm going to string on a rice pearl. Rice pearl. I'm going to keep calling it that. I don't know why.
I like that.
It's pearlesque, but it's not a pearl. A rice bead, and then I'm going to string up through just the tiger's eye again. So this is going to create my first stitch. We'll do this a few times so you guys can kind of get the hang of it. And I'll try and correct my terminology here for my beads.
I would wager that you're using maybe a black a red spinel soft flex.
It's either red spinel, correct, or it's garnet. It's one of the two, and I had it on a different spool, so I couldn't tell you exactly. But either color, garnet or spinel, will match beautifully with the
They even
donut
have a
that you're
third
gonna put in.
red, which I can't remember if it's still. So we ordered our trio for the soft flex that's arriving, and we picked out red jasper because it's like the slightly more leathery
Ooh,
brown red.
perfect.
Um,
Yeah,
so I think that'll
I
work
think.
really nicely in this project.
Oh, I think so too. Inevitably, I feel like I should have any of those colors within my stash. It's just I sort of just pulled out the one that just was red immediately because I was like, oh, we gotta start. But yeah, those I think any of those color choices are perfect for this. And truly, like this particular pendant has so many colors within it that are of the red hue. So those are gonna just work out pretty well.
Absolutely.
So, okay, here we go again. Bicone and a little tiger's eye. Go up through the donut and then string on a rice bead. Should do this on camera. Okay, up through the donut, string on a rice bead. And then go up through the tiger's eye.
Is
That's
this
pretty much
based on a
it.
seed beading stitch?
I don't know. That's a good question. I feel like it probably is at some, like, inevitably, anytime I start stitching anything, whether it is wire, beading wire, or whatever, it had to have stemmed from something I did seed beading because that's where I started. So yeah, you kind of just repeat this like as many or as few times as you want. You could even just crown the top here and put something else down here. Even via, I've done this for a project, in fact, where below a donut, I just kind of folded my SilverSilk and created a little like loop there at the bottom.
Mm-hmm.
And you can put in your findings to create even more baubles and attachments and fringe or whatever that you want to. I kind of wanted to switch it up this time around and do something a little different. So I did this pendant instead, where I just went all the way around over and over again, and then ended up just crimping here at the top. So I just strung on a little accent bead to give myself some space. And then I just made a giant loop and crimped it and then strung it right over the pipe chain.
Do we have time to keep going on the pendant
Yeah,
itself?
I think so. I could do a few extra rounds here and then do a little crimp maybe to show you how I ended it. Let's see, so we got bicone, and I think I used up a good bit of the bicone, so I might not be able to go all the way around, but that's okay. It's enough to demonstrate this. I didn't get 2 bead boxes from you this time, Sam.
I know. You gotta tell me if there's any time, if you need any more extras for these classes. I can send you out whatever you
need. No, I think I had.
I never know exactly what's gonna call to you.
Say what?
I never know exactly which items are gonna sing to Mule.
Oh, totally. Yeah, I don't even know until I get all the things, and then I kind of just do what Sarah does sometimes, and she takes apart her design after it's been photographed, and then just kind of work backwards from it. And that seems to sometimes, work pretty well.
I just feel like if you made a pendant like that, I don't think I'd ever be able to deconstruct it.
You'd be surprised at how many things that I'm just like, oh my gosh, I got it right the first time. Oh, dang, I have to take it apart.
Joan's very curious about the little bonus wire coiling above the pendant.
Yeah, so that's a great point. I wanted to fill up that space in between, but not have it, I guess, cover up any part of my pendant. So it was like a question of like, how do I make this look more finished or more jazzy without getting too over the top? And so I sort of just took some 20, you could either take 20 gauge or 22 gauge. In this case, I think this is 20 gauge wire. And I just loosely, very loosely curled it around between the pipe chain to kind of fill up that area and let the wire just like go wherever it wanted. I did string on some beads in between my wraps, but you could see like I left a lot of air and space in with my wrapping and just kind of let the wire do what it wanted to do. So really, I probably just used like 1.5 feet of wire. Not very much at all.
If we have time, it'd be cool to go through that because I'm looking at that. I'm like, can't quite tell how you shaped it so well.
Well, and it's great because you can use it with the pipe chain without the pendant altogether, and it just creates a nice little like extra something, little extra bead.
I think you actually have exactly enough bicones.
Do I?
I just did 9 on the original pendant, and you have 9 more.
Must be a sign.
And then there's 2 more somewhere.
Amazing. Oh, I used 2 on this thing. I forgot.
There you go.
Yep. Okay.
Do you like wake up and see these things, or do you have to like start, or are you someone who has to like be more tactile and start playing around with the beads to get to this point?
That's such a funny way to think about it. Do I wake up and just see things? Sometimes I do, actually, funny enough. I'm just like, okay, I thought about it overnight, or had a hot bath and got my brain to relax and come up with some good stuff or something. And sometimes that's how I draw ideas. But yeah, no, I think in this case, with working with what I knew technique-wise, that would be a good idea for using this donut is where I first started. I kind of just let the materials start to speak for itself and then start to like put stuff together according to how textures and stuff is going to work. I will say some designs just come up a lot quicker than others, and some of them, I've got a project that's sitting in my little closet space just behind my computer that's been there for nearly a month and a half that I have all this stuff to do it with, and I have no, like, there's not going to be a tutorial for it. I just wanted to make something, but I still can't find myself to finish it because I don't know what it wants to become. And maybe that's been like the holdback is like, I'm not, putting it in such a way in a box that I'm having to like teach it to other people because it's so freeform. It just kind of left my brain to like not finish the assembly part of it because I don't know what it wants to do.
It'll like happen when it's time for it to happen.
I mean, I guess in some sense, yes, but I also just like a nice, tidy, clean space, and so it bothers me that it's there. So I'm either like, okay, you need to either become what you want to, or it's time to just like start deconstructing you. And 2 months is a long time. It's a long time to have a project on the table.
I feel like I have projects in bags for years.
I don't think we're the only ones here that probably have leftover residual projects that are waiting for some sort of creativity, right? You know what? I think I will end up finishing that.
I still have a SilverSilk project that like with peridot that I see the bag about once a month, and I'm like, I want this bracelet. How have I not finished this bracelet?
I hear ya. Oops. One thing you can do if you wanted to balance this out a little more with the design is you can put beads on both the front and the back side. There we go, the unfinished objects. Yeah, the UFOs. So that there aren't just rice beads on one side, but you can have them on both. That way, whenever you do put the necklace on, you don't really have to worry about a front or a back side. It's kind of created all the same on every side.
Oh, that's smart.
Let's see. I think this is my last one.
Number 9.
I know. So I guess I'm going to have matchy pendants here.
You wear one on your back, you wear one on your front.
That is hilarious. I love that.
We got to start designing necklaces that you can admire from the back too.
I know. And the only thing I think that really stops that method is people with long hair, but they must wear it up. We can come up with some rules. You must wear your hair up for this look. No, okay, so I'm going to string on a little yellow bead on both sides here. And I believe I have some yellow crimps out to the side as well. So I'm gonna, just gonna do this. I'll probably end up giving this design away to someone at some point.
Miele's secret surprises, they're quite amazing.
A lot of my customers, longtime supporters and friends out there get this like surprise happy mail because not only will I have included their products that they ordered, but also I just drop in a design because I'm like, guys, I have too many and I don't wear jewelry because I'm at home all the time, which is really not an excuse, but you know, oops, there's my bead. But I feel like I should share the love a little bit and have folks wear something that I created or that something that they admired.
It's very generous.
And want to wear. All right, so I'm gonna do a little quick crimp here at the end and just make myself a little loop big enough for the pipe chain to fit through. You can always pre-measure this just by sticking a little bit of a pipe chain in and, you know, adjusting accordingly. So probably about right there. Okay, that looks pretty good. So I'll just smash this on there. Oh, I smashed that terribly. I feel like whenever I do stuff off camera, it works so easily, and then you put me on camera, and stuff just doesn't quite always work out.
Where are your Xuron crimpers?
I know. I need to have those. Well, oh, they're right in front of me. Dang it! I could just use those.
I was like, I only associate you with the Xuron crimpers.
I know. I love using these for everything. But sometimes, you know, if my crimp is really showing as part of the design, in which this case, I guess it was discreet enough, kind of just hid behind the copper extravagantness that's happening. I could have just regular crimped it, but too late. I've already committed to this. So. Should probably see it all the way through, right? Okay, I'm going to add on my second crimp, and I'm working off the same spool of bronzite here, so I'm just going to scooch some of this stuff down. And now I can, you know, go ahead and attach my second strand here onto, moving on to wire wrap part. Okay.
This project actually works up relatively quickly because of the stitching technique.
Yeah, I think that's why I enjoy teaching it the most, is because the versatility. So you can add any amount of beads or type of beads that you want to. I love that it produces a larger volume than what you started, and it works out very quickly. So for me, I might just be biased because it's my design or whatever, but I think it's really just an awesome technique to learn. Okay, there we go. So I got my stuff all attached and looking good, right? So I am ready to do some wire wrapping. And so let me grab some 22 gauge copper wire, 20 gauge maybe. Hey, here we are. I've got some 20 gauge wire in bright copper. So I'm just going to take out 1.5 feet, give or take. And I'm just going to trim it. Okay, to start this, what I did was I just sort of anchored it with my finger there. And then you can kind of pre-assemble your beads on it, string your beads on it. So here, I'll just do this. I'm going to string on about, let's just say 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I think 10 should probably be plenty to get some great movement happening. 7, 8, 9, 10. Well, we'll do 11 because it's in my hand. Okay, I'm going to just anchor it with my finger, and I'm just going to sort of like work this wire around where my pipe chain is. And you kind of do have to scooch those beads out of the way so that you don't get this like huge concentration of them. But you know, if you've got 1 or 2 that are kind of just in there, then they can happily play together. But I'm really just going to be very like kind of chaotic and not really think about this too much as I'm wrapping it.
Yes, chaotic beading.
We did something very stitched and very precise, and now we can do something that offsets it with just a bit of chaotic wire wrapping. But you see how it just starts to kind of work in on itself and starts to become what it wants to as I'm wrapping this around.
Absolutely. And it's such a beautiful way too.
Yeah, once you start to build up those layers, it like really becomes something cool. And I feel like I've got so much stuff around me that I'm going to inevitably knock something off my table. So I'm just gonna move. I'm glad I don't have a drink on hand because that particular cup would end up across the room very easily.
You said 20 gauge?
Yes, 20 gauge.
That's so smart. So then it's gonna have some structure to it.
Yeah, I've found in my experience of doing beadwork that the 20 gauge and the 26 gauge are like my 2 happy places to be. As one of them is just thick enough and has sturdy structure, but it's still very malleable. And then the 26 gauge is thin, so I could sew with it if I want to, but still has a pretty good, you know, a decent body to it, I guess.
Mm.
So yeah, I'm just again just like let the adventure happen and don't think about it too much. Just let the wire play. You've got something that is again just very structured and precisely placed, and then you've got this sort of offset, happy, playful wire wrapping that happens at the top to kind of contrast that part of the design. So there's a lot of fun things at play here. To end it, you can just take a pair of round nose pliers.
Oh.
And what I do is I just sort of curl in the wire so that it becomes part of the design. As long as you don't have a what did we say earlier, a pokey outy thingy?
Nope. Something.
We don't want to. No ouchies.
No scary
right?
pokies.
So there we go. That's it.
Oh, so
And yeah,
pretty.
if you did not want to do any of this pendant stuff at all, then you could totally just have a really cool wire wrap bead at the end of it all. You know?
Yeah, that's so cool. I like that it's reminding me of a cage bead.
Yeah, it really does. Just I don't know, it's just kind of captured in a different way. But I know there's some folks out there that enjoy more so the wire wrapping than the mixed media technique. So hopefully, this demonstration of all the things will have inspired you guys to. I probably can't put that back in if I even tried, because I made that loop too small. So, note for the future is if you want to grip on the pipe chain, probably make your loop a little bit bigger so that if you wanted to take it off, you can. But that's okay. I can. I'll figure out a way to use it. So, anyways, that was kind of my demonstration for the evening.
Oh my goodness!
I know we covered a lot of topics, though.
Oh yeah. Are you willing to show that last piece that's in the gallery? Do you happen to have it nearby?
Oh,
so Neelix,
I do.
if you go to SilverSilk online, there's now a tab that says Sam's Bead Shop. And Nilay's come up with this really cool system where he's going to have a collection for each month. And so he's making a gallery that goes with each month. And this is one of the beautiful designs he put in there using the bronzite pipe chain. And oh my gosh, like what a bounty of beads from the September box.
Yeah, I'm in love with these earrings. And so I'll probably selfishly do this for a tutorial of my own.
You should. Absolutely. And so he's making this whole archive where like this class will be saved there and maybe that class will be saved there eventually.
Yeah.
And it's all sorted by month. So right now, since we've done this for 2 months now, you can go to the Sam's Bead Shop tab and then click on August. You'll see the ancient ruins designs in the gallery. And then you go to September and you'll see, I think you have those earrings there. And there's one other bonus piece there also, I think. Oh, no, it's that one. It's the donut. It's the donut.
Yeah, it's this one, and then these earrings, and then, well, it'll be this video, essentially, which I think we covered quite a few different topics of how to use a flat mesh. This bracelet, which I need to photograph and throw on there as well.
And then, of course, Nilay has, like, so many beautiful items. So he's also making a collection of recommended products to go with the box, in addition to the maker packs that we're doing. So
I love how, like, all of these things are different that we're looking at, but they all, like, you could wear them all at once because they have that same cohesion with the bead palette and everything.
Absolutely. Oh my gosh, you just made a whole beautiful set of jewelry. I cannot believe it.
I can't either. This is my best accomplishment today. I feel like.
You're very proud of yourself.
I'm gonna just pat myself on the back.
I've been eyeing those earrings on the gallery, and like, I think I have a sense of how you did it. You haven't done a tutorial on that yet, right?
Not yet. I think I'm kind of selfishly glad that I did save them because I enjoy them so much that I want to do I definitely want to do its own tutorial, like straight to the facts, show, you know, a 1-to-1 tutorial beginning and end to it. So I think I'm going to save that one for me if that's okay. And then I can post that one and then share it to you guys. Yeah.
So Naila will share Gem Chat, but you can also subscribe to SilverSilk on YouTube, turn like the notifications on, then you'll see when Nilay does that tutorial, hopefully sometime soon, and we get to learn how to make those beautiful earrings. You just keep the inspiration going for us, Nilay. It's amazing.
Well, honestly, like as cheesy as it sounds, I think the box is just because of the quality and the imagination and palette you guys put together with those boxes. It's so easy to be inspired from it from my standpoint. I know in the same sense, there's so many things in there. It's hard to pick out what I want to do some days, but I don't know. It's such a fun thing for me to work with. So I'm just appreciative of this great collaboration thing that we got going on.
I feel so lucky that we get to see the box like transform each month now, and like see so many really cool specific possibilities for it. I think is like so special. So thank you to you, Nilay.
Oh, thank you. And I would say that the folks that do go out and grab the box and start posting their designs in the Sims Jam chat group or any of the other social media outlets that you've got that I can kind of peer into every now and then, like they just like, it's so inspiring to see their interpretation on the color palettes and how they're putting beads and stuff together too. And it actually does inspire me, and I'm like trying to look at the beads in a different light every time that I kind of approach it. So yeah, it's a fun environment.
Well, it sounds like all of us are looking forward to your earring design. You have to let us know when you do that tutorial.
Absolutely.
And we'll be watching with open ears.
Yes. Well, that one's going to be great for knowing how to cap off the ends with the wire, because that's something I think a lot of folks are still kind of new to. And so as I'm discovering more and more with the pipe chain and what it can and can't do, it's just my library of ideas just kind of grow beyond that as well. So along with everybody, I'm sort of developing the same, method in that concept of it, I guess.
Yeah. I just checked the website about 5 minutes ago, and there were 2 maker kits left that have the custom flat mesh. So there's 2 last bags in existence available. I don't know exactly when we'll have a restock. We're trying, but like Nilay makes it all himself in-house. So if you want that, definitely snag that now. And there's a few sitting in carts too, so join the wait list. One of those could become yours as well. I just think this is such a special maker pack this month to go with the box. So thank you again, and thank you everyone. Once we finish here, this video will post to both of our YouTube channels. So if you would give it a like and comment, subscribe to both of our channels, we really, really appreciate it. And I think that's it for today. Thank you so much, Delay.
My pleasure to be here. I'm glad I could teach you guys some new stuff and hopefully inspire y'all to grab a box or to use the box if you've already got it, and of course the maker kit too. So thank you so much for having me, though. This is
of course. You know I adore you, and I'm so glad we're friends in this bead world. So I will see you very soon, I'm sure.
Yes, definitely.
All right, bye, Delay.